All right, welcome everybody to Wapiti Live Q&A for May 22nd. Holy cow. We're almost 3 months out from season. Gonna be here quick, but okay, so tonight we're gonna do some OnX training. I know I've touched on OnX a little bit about how to take some things that we found in FatMap and drop it into OnX, but what I want to do tonight is kind of dive into a little bit more tutorial of OnX and some of the tools. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Share. And okay. Can you guys see this okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So I want to close that and close that. Okay. So one thing on OnX is I really color code a lot of things. Red for potential area, brown is usually trail cameras, yellow is parking, black is camp, rubs, potential areas. So color coding just helps to quickly find or quickly understand what those pins are. Some of these pins too were imported from Liz's late husband's GPS. So that's why they're just X's. But the cool thing about OnX is, I can grab, I can share. Like here's a good example, yellow for access or parking, blue is fishing. I'll use blue for water or wallows, black camp. Red is where encountered elk or potential areas. Again, yellow parking. Um, Again, just so I can kind of quickly know exactly what they are. Like this blue one right here, I think that's a wallow. Yeah, little French meadows. So okay, so what we're going to kind of do is let me move this over to this side so I can get to tools and show you guys some of these tools. And so what we're going to do, God, why are you so sensitive tonight? We're going to kind of go through and we're just going to use some of these tools and kind of show you how I use each of them to figure some things out. If you're new to OnX, everything is broken down into unit. I do have a paid membership. I pay $39.99 a year for 1 year. They do have one membership that's above, which is $99 for the year, and that gets you all 50 states and also gets you access to a bunch of the other tools. So um, pink is good drivable roads. Your dashed lines, like white with red right here, is usually a motorized trail. So bike, hike, and horse, dirt bike. It actually gives you all the information, the name of the trail, how long the trail is, coordinates. I mean, you can get a lot of information, by clicking on those. But clicking on each of the trails will tell you whether it has non-motorized or motorized activities. The motorized activities could be either dirt bike or ATV. Sometimes it'll tell you if there's a 50-inch restriction on them, and sometimes it'll just say non-motorized bike, hike, and horse. Like here's a prime example. This one right here that is white and black, that tells me that's a non-motorized trail. So see, there is no motorized, it's non-motorized activity only. So those are kind of important to know when you're kind of planning areas, just because access. So, all right, so let's kind of start going through some of these tools. The first one I'm going to talk about is this draw line measure distance. How I use this one a lot is, we're just going to minimize that. How about if we just do that? That works, right? Now it's not blocking. So anytime you click that line distance, it immediately comes up. So you're already set. And all you do is you click on the first starting point, and then you go to the second one and click. And that's going to tell you there's 1.1 miles in between these two roads. Now, why is that important? Well, you'll hear it, you'll have somebody and people that'll sit there and go, "Oh, I don't even go unless there is a lot of different distance in between the roads." But these are some of those areas that we talked about in between that a lot of people will drive by, and you've got elk hanging out in these pockets right in between. It's kind of one of those things where you kind of got to be pay attention, because if you get down in there, then you got to listen for traffic. So, all right, let me start over here with map layers. So within every state, you have state specific layers, private lands, government lands, GMUs, which are, game unit boundaries, possible access, access yes, and large tracts. Access yes. In fact, I'll turn this on and zoom out. We'll go back over here. Access yes, I use this one quite a bit on these antelope hunts, because they will actually, oh, look at that. They will actually show whether it's access yes or not. Oh, I wonder if this one, huh, looks like some of my access yes places are no longer access yes. So, but access yes is good, because that will, show you those private lands that do participate and let people come in and hunt. So, all right. So those are all the state layers. Current conditions, I will turn on active fires, just to kind of see active fires, especially if it's a pretty active fire year. I will turn this route on, or this layer on, and it'll show any active fires that are going on. See, we've got some, here's one right here, RX West Loman. And then what you can do is you can actually click on that, and then a lot of times it'll give you information if it is a wildfire or a prescribed burn. So this one, it's an active wildfire. So, but those are just some things to kind of keep an eye on, especially in a really active fire year. All right. After current conditions, land and access, which these layers usually a lot of times you have to have the higher, most of these you have to have a higher membership to be able to access, but slope angle is one that you can most definitely use. Remember on Fat Map where we had those color gradings for how steep the territory was? This slope angle works pretty well, and you can adjust how solid that layer is. I don't leave this layer on all the time, just because when you're out on your phone, I would much rather want to zoom in on details and be able to see on the satellite. But when you're scouting on the computer and you want to know about an area, slope angle is beneficial. And same thing too, notice how you have these non-colored areas. That's how you're going to find your benches and flats. All right, roads, trails, and recreation. This one I use quite a bit. I have trails on, motorized trails. Now, this is you can turn on trail slope. Trail slope is basically just going to tell you how steep the motorcycle trail is. This one, the fact that there's no gradient, there's no slopes. You can turn on mileage, which will basically tell you how long. I just click on them. This roadless area. This is a good one to turn on because notice now all of a sudden we have these purple areas. And what the roadless does is the deeper the purple, the more remote it is. So if you want to find areas that don't have a lot of roads through them, this is a great tool to use. You can see this thing does not have a single road or trail through it. So for you guys that really like backpack hunting and getting away, this roadless is a great option because this will allow you to get away from a lot of roads and people. Trees, crops, and soils, I don't ever really use this one. I mean, I guess you could turn on timber cuts, which basically will show you areas where they've done some cutting, done some thinning. I don't know how well they update it. It's just not one that I really use. Deciduous versus conifer details. You can basically find out if it's deciduous trees or coniferous trees, in your area. You do have to be zoomed in a little bit. Wow, imagine that. Everywhere I hunt, it's coniferous. So, okay. Um, Wildlife layers, elk distribution map. Again, I don't ever use these layers. Elk, Boone, and Crockett records last 10 years. Okay. So in the last 10 years, there has been one bull in this area that made Boone and Crockett records. This one total entry. These areas, two total entries. So, I mean, if you're looking for record book bulls, one total entry. Now, if you notice too on these, it'll tell you total entries and total typical. Where this one down here, it said one total entry, zero typical. So that tells you this was a non-typical bull. So, okay. So that is the wildlife layers. Again, I really don't play with these much at all. Maybe I should though on the antelope. Two total entries. So these are just other tools if you are, like, once again, scouting. Maybe you're looking for some draw areas, and these are available in all states. So, but for the most part, the layers that you showed on, those are pretty much the layers that I leave. So, okay. Now, we talked about line distance. Let's talk about shape. So let's say this area here, Box Canyon, Lookout Canyon, in between Scott Mountain and Gallagher Peak. Let's say this whole entire area interests me. I'm going to click line or shape. And what I'll do a lot of times is I'll just start clicking. And you can drag, when these turn blue, you can drag them to kind of change a little bit. Now, what this is telling me right now is this area of interest is 15,424 acres. So now I could actually come in here and I can name this, and let's just call this Box Canyon Potential. Now, the neat thing is this will show up on my app also as a potential area that I want to check out. It's a good way that if you're scouting multiple areas, just draw a shape around it, label it, and label it like I would probably name this Box Canyon potential area. And so then that tells me that this is an area that I want to check out. This will allow you to kind of go through a lot of areas and um, mark a bunch of spots that you want to put boots on the ground and check out. So, okay. So once you have it named, just click the save button. If you changed your mind and you did something, just hit the X, hit discard. So, okay. Now, we're going to zoom in here a little bit because I'm kind of curious. So this little spur right here, we're gonna call this is gonna be a potential camp spot, and I'm gonna kind of follow this dashed line. Looks like it could be an old road, old trail, but I want to use this to get up into Box Canyon. Well, I want to know what it's going to take. So now I'm going to click on this S, and this is build route. So, and I'm just going to start. Now, the nice thing is anytime there's any road or anything like that, the map will automatically follow this old road. So I don't have to sit there and I don't have to click and click and click. So I'm going to hit Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. That's just going to eliminate everything that I did and come back to the start. And I'm going to click my starting point again. And I'm just going to go real quick and see how it just follows that. It's really nice. And then I'm going to do this. All right. So this is telling me that from the start all the way back in the back, it's 3.2 miles. And in that 3.2 miles, I'm going to gain 1,045 feet. At the start, I'm going to be at 4,000, just over 4,000 feet. And as I hover over this and start going, it's going to tell me how many miles in and what my elevation is. But notice on the map, it's following with me. So I can tell just by looking at this that this is a gradual climb the whole entire way. So gaining 1,000 feet in 3 miles. Um, then, I can change the route color. I can change the style, the weight. I can add notes and then once again save it. You do need the higher membership to be able to do this. Now, the reason it's following this line right now is because Snap to It is turned on. If I go point and draw is going to be just a little bit different. Point and draw will just be a straight line. So, in fact, let's do this. Let's cancel discard route. We're going to do this again, but this time we're going to hit point and draw. And you'll see this time when I start, see it just stays a straight line. It will not follow that contour. So basically anything you get on this is just going to basically be as a crow flies. So you can also see too, now if you want to end it, you double click and that's how you end the route. All right, cancel, discard. Okay. Waypoint. Let's say I hiked back in here and I know at the end here there's a wallow. So I can hit waypoint and you can see it's not exactly where I want it. I can put the hand on it, left click, and I can drag it exactly to where I want it. Now this is where I can do, exactly all of this and we'll call this Box Canyon Wallow. And I mean, if I was out in the field and taking a photo, I can drop a photo into it so that way, I have all that information. All right, other tools, wind calendar. So if you add a waypoint, it will give you, let me scroll out and go to a waypoint, wind calendar. So basically this will tell me, so what I did right there was I just clicked on that waypoint and came to wind direction, and I hit the plus menu and said, show me current wind. So current wind right now is 4 miles an hour out of the northwest. So why is this important? Especially if you're scouting, you're going to want to know routes. But the nice thing is too, I can sit here and say, okay, I want to show optimal wind on this, and optimal wind for me to hunt this area is out of the southeast. Or let's just go northwest and then apply. And right now, notice it's saying good. What that is telling me is right now, there's a good wind to hunt this area. So if you have areas that you have to come in from a specific direction to get into it, and you need that wind blowing a certain direction, set that preferred wind, optimal wind. Then whenever you pull this up or you click on that, it's going to tell you, yep, you've got a good wind, go hunt it. Or let's just kind of edit it right now and let's get rid of northwest. Let's go southeast, apply. See, right now it changed. Nope. I have to come in, or I need to come in from the southeast. Unfortunately, right now, or I need that wind from the southeast. Right now, it's out of the northwest. We got a bad wind. This is not going to work for me. I do not want to go in that area because I'm just going to blow the animals out. So, okay. Make sense?
Yeah.
Did you guys even know about these tools?
Sandy, did you know this had all this on OnX?
Uh, I didn't realize I could put preferred wind direction, but everything else I've seen before.
Okay.
Man, I'm just like, wow.
But I play with OnX quite a bit.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So, okay, now let's kind of go back up to where we were. Here we go. Box Canyon. Now, right now, this is satellite view. You have hybrid and topo. So topo is a straight topo map, which you notice on satellite. Satellite is kind of hard to see where water is in this area. Topo is good because it gives you, hey, Larry Gills decided to make it. Topo kind of gives you elevation and how steep it is, but it also gives you water sources. The one I like a lot is hybrid, because hybrid still gives me a little bit of the satellite, still gives me water. Great way to find benches based on topography grid lines, especially if they are at the head of, bingo. Do you guys see what I'm looking at?
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Yeah.
A bench right there above the head of a
Yep.
creek.
Yep.
So just that quick, you can find this. So another neat thing on this too is the 3D view. 3D is a great tool just because you can pan, you can tilt, you can get a really, really good idea of what this canyon looks like. Now, 2D, doesn't really give you a whole lot. You can tell a little bit, but as soon as you go into 3D, I immediately picked up something that really caught my attention. And that's this right here. You've got nice, easy northern facing dark timber with water down below and open faces in the back. This is a great recipe right here for elk. And the other nice thing, the only access you have is on your own 2 feet. So, okay. This is another cool feature, and this will work on the desktop or the app on the phone. Come on. There we go. Okay, so what weather? Currently, right now in Box Canyon, it's 41 degrees. We already know 4 miles per hour out of the northwest because we found that when we turned on the wind. But this is one thing I look at a lot right here. Barometric pressure. It also gives you what time the sunrise is, what time the sunset is, and it gives you weather for today, tomorrow, and the day after. So when you click on the phone on the app, it's usually going to take you to the closest weather station is where that information's pulling from. But it's a great tool to be able to check weather. Now, we're going to see if Sandy knew about this. Sandy, do you know about the trail cameras feature?
Are you talking about where you can mark where you set your trail cams?
Nope. I'm going to show you something different.
I saw something about a while back they were advertising something about trail cam feature, but I never dug into it.
Yep. Let me go into this. So you can do this from your computer or from your phone. On the computer, all you do is click create trail camera and you can add the trail camera. You can add the brand. You can add the model number, whether it's an SD card or a cellular, how many batteries it takes, what size SD card you have in it, and you can color code it. I color code all mine brown. Now, here's the cool thing. Once you have all your cameras in, your cameras are in there. So you can see right now, all of my cameras say not in field. I could take this and I could click this and I could actually place it. You can do this from the phone also. So I just updated my batteries. I went through all my cameras and got them ready for this weekend. And then the SD card, once I place the camera in my phone app, I will click update and I will update to that date. So if I set this camera on Friday, I'm going to set it to Friday's date. So now I immediately know that it will tell me how many days that card has been in there. So I don't have to guess anymore. Now, the cool thing about this too is if you review it, if you pull those SD cards, you review them on your computer, you can actually drop photos from that camera, from that SD card right into here. So now if I'm on the computer or I'm on my phone, I can see the pictures from that trail camera while it is out in the field and even hunting. Now, cool thing is too, is history. History is going to have the GPS coordinates for year after year after year after year. Every time you place that camera. So like I said, place it, boom. I let it sit for 3 weeks. I go in, nope, there's no pictures or I don't like the activity. I'm going to pull it out of the field. So then it'll say not in field anymore. But under history, it's going to show me the GPS coordinates of where that camera sat and how many days it sat in there. And any photos that camera took. So
1866. Hmm.
Is there a limit to the number of cam or photos you can put in?
No, and the cool thing is OnX does have a few partnerships with some of the cellular cameras out there that those cellular cameras will automatically drop the pictures into your OnX for that camera.
Um, the number of days in there said that your SIM card's been in there for 27 years.
Yeah, that's because when I added these, I didn't change the date.
Oh,
It automatically defaulted.
19,866 days.
Yes.
That's about
So,
27 years.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. Haven't been getting too many pictures if it's been in there for 27 years and it's not full. So, but
Yeah,
Well,
but
I
that's
was starting to think he was ahead of his time with that type of technology, but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But no, that's where I was saying. Just when I go and you can see too. I told you guys how I number my cameras. There's Stealth Cam 4, 2, 6, 1, 5, 4. So when I place them in the field, I immediately know. So I already know on Friday I'm placing Spy Point and I'm placing Stealth Cam 1 just because those are two older cameras that if they walk off, I'm not really going to be heartbroken about them. Um, and they are in areas that they could potentially be found. So, but there you go, Sandy. What do you think about that trail cam feature?
I think I'll start digging into it.
Because I mean, you can. We'll just do this. Because see, this is kind of what I normally do. Just drop a cell camera. Okay, this tells you that I put camera number 2 in here in 2023. Now, here's the cool thing too. Let me go back in here and let's go Stealth Cam 2. I'm going to click edit and it may not let me, yeah, it won't let me do this on the computer, but on your phone, when you're out in the field and you place this, you can even tell and you can set it on which way you have that camera facing, whether it's north or northwest or northeast or south, whatever way that camera is facing, when you place it, you have the ability to set it on which way it's facing. So again, you can get a ton of historical data, and especially with that history, you can really see. There you go, guys. There's the spot I hunted last year. Well, here. This will give you guys, because I told you guys last year how much ground we covered.
You didn't drop many pins.
no, not at
This
all.
was okay, so this was camp number 1, all the way back here at the end of the year, or the start of the year. Wait, is that right? Oh, no, no, no. Sorry, sorry, sorry. We're not even close. Okay. This was where we started the year, this camp spot right here. And we hunted all this stuff. Then we pulled camp and we moved all the way down to here and we hunted all this stuff. Then we got in the truck and pulled camp down to the highway, down to here, 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 and then we came up to here. And then we started hunting all this. Now I had these 3 trail cameras out in the summer because we were actually, these are two different units or 2 different zones. This zone on the left is the zone that we used to hunt. This zone on the right is the hunt that we decided to hunt last year because of that stuff all the way up to the north. So but this is where we ended up, and we actually ended up hunting all this, and we even came over and hunted all this stuff in here. You can kind of see where I had turned on some tracks for a hunt and a loop. So, okay. So, OnX, great tools, great features. Now, oh, one more thing. Forgot. And share. And offline maps. Okay. Offline maps basically are what you download so that you can access them on your phone even if you do not have service. Now the cool thing is even your offline maps, and you can name them so that you can go to them quickly. But the offline maps are awesome because anything that I do out in the field is automatically going to update as soon as I come back into service. And anything I do on the computer is going to update on my offline map. So now when you can see that overlap that I have, because I want to make sure when I go from area to area on this, I don't want to have any phased out or fuzzed out areas. And it's pretty easy. You just hit new offline map and you can choose the size that you want. So, and you can see high resolution gives you the most details. A lot of times I will go medium and I'll just kind of move the map until I have 2 lines or maybe 1 line from the other maps that I've downloaded. So that way I know I'm getting concurrent sections that just go. And then you can label it. So whatever, and usually what I'll do is I will basically name them for a specific feature that's in that area. So that way it's really, really quick and easy for me to know which map I'm looking at right here. So, and you can view it, you can edit, you can delete it, but offline maps are great. My content, this is basically where you're going to have everything. This is going to show all of your content that you have, and all content is everything. Don't do that. I don't want to open that up because that's a lot of information.
So, so back to online, offline maps.
Mhm.
Can you highlight those given areas on your computer, and then it'll be highlighted on your phone?
So anytime I do offline maps, I do it on the computer because it's easier to set your sizing.
Right.
So, because see, if I'm scrolled all the way out and I click new offline map and I want medium, it's going to give me this whole entire giant area, which you can, but maybe there's stuff over here that you don't want. So you can sit there and you can just start zooming in and moving the map so that it lines up with what you want, and just zoom it in until it gets to those spaces that you want. Again, like I said, you could go low quality, which you can see estimated size is going to be 0.01 gigabytes. Medium is going to be about 0.08, and high, look at that, 0.36 gigabytes. Normally, medium will get me all the information that I need out in the field. I can see The terrain, I can see everything that I need to know on medium. I never go high because basically, 36, you could basically put four medium maps, 4.5 medium maps in the same amount of download size that one high map would take. And high is basically 8.9 by 7. Look at this, 15 by 11 right now. You're going to capture so much more area. And you can zoom out and get those a lot bigger, but I generally kind of stay in that 15 by 11 size because there's a lot of detail in there. All right, so my content, this is where all your waypoints, your tracks, that potential area that you drew, any lines, any routes, this is where everything is going to be stored. And all you have to do is click on one of those so you can see potential. Now, what this is going to do right now is this is showing everything that you can see on the screen right here. But if I zoom out, only list content visible on screen. So let's scroll down and take me to 6 Mile Creek access. Just by clicking on that, it's going to take you to that waypoint. So you can quickly, easily, if you're sitting there going, man, okay, what was this potential elk camp that I created on March 20th, 2024? Immediately take it, then you can scroll out and go, okay, what was it about this area that interested me? Oh, well, yeah, we got some motorcycle trails, we got some dead end roads, we got another motorcycle trail here, and it's really the only potential campsite that I saw while kind of scouting this area a little bit. So, so my content is good for finding stuff, and really it's all how you name things. And you can see I've got a lot of potential area, uh, bed and tracks, November 11th, 2023. What was I doing on November 11th? Oh, that's right. I was on that muzzleloader hunt. Do you remember me, guy? Do you remember me talking, guys, about the beds that were 47 yards above the road?
Mhm.
Sandy, Jim.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Now you can see how thick it is,
Yeah.
and look at how far. There was so many beds in this area. It was insane. And what it was this dashed line right here is an old road that basically goes out, and they were coming out of this timber, hitting this old road, crossing the road right here, and then just going right up in here and bedding down.
You could smell them from the road, couldn't you?
No, not in November.
Oh, okay.
So,
That's
but
bad.
but again, they're going to be hanging here. Reason being is by the time they get here, thermals are going to be switching because this is above the road. They're going to be laying here with thermals from that road blowing up. So if anybody stopped down in here, all they would do is just slip right out this back door and just disappear. So, okay. Close that. Get back for this weekend. So, okay. There we go. There is an in-depth OnX tutorial for May 22nd, 2024.
Thank you. That was interesting.
Until you really get in and start playing with that stuff, you really don't realize the potential and the tools that these things have. And you know, base map has the same kind of tools. And I know I get asked a lot, base map or OnX, and I've used both. To me, OnX is more user friendly, but that's only because I learned OnX first. I've got friends that have base map and they hate OnX. So I really think it's whichever one you used first, that's the one that you're probably going to be more comfortable with, and learn everything that you can about that. The nice thing that I like about OnX is the features that you have on the computer there are the exact same thing that you have on the phone. There is one thing that's different that you have on the phone is because when you're out in the field, so on the computer, north is always at the top, unless you put it in 3D and tilt it. On the phone, you can change it from that to whichever way your phone is facing, it's going to change. So whether you're facing north, south, east, west, or whatever. And what's kind of cool is there's a rangefinder tool on the app, on the phone, that you can click that rangefinder tool and then you can draw a line out. So let's say you're rifle hunting and you shot a deer and you're sitting there and it's like, okay, that deer was right over here. Rangefinder, click, go, boom, drop a point where he's at. Actually, I can show you part of this. So let's, okay. And okay, so what I did was I clicked on this and now waypoint radius. I can click on radius and I can change this to 200 yards. Okay, so hypothetically, let's say this was where maybe I was tracking a bull and I got to last blood. Let's say instead of this elk, this was a blood spot. I want to start grid searching. I can actually turn on a radius around this. So right now I have it set at 200 yards. So now I can go to this spot and I can turn on my tracks. So on the phone, you have the option to turn tracks on. So then when you start walking
See
and
where you
start doing your circles, you can see within this radius how well you're grid searching this circle, whether you're doing the spiral or if you're doing east, west, north, south, but you can grid this area. Okay. Remove. So, and you can also on that, you can do it in either yards or miles. So another,
Now, how do you drop a pin there? You have to do that on your phone, right?
no,
Okay, how do you drop a pin?
you just come up here and you click add waypoint. And then, you know, let me do this. Let me go to an area where I don't have a waypoint. Hidden Lake and Moores Creek. Sounds like kind of a good potential place to look, right?
Yeah.
water source.
Okay. So you click add waypoint. Now,
Okay.
Larry, you can put your hand over the top of this, and on the computer you can left click, and then I can drag this anywhere that I want it to be.
Okay.
I can add, you have so many, you know, was arrow, is this where I found my arrow? Oh, I saw a bobcat. Here's blood for blood trailing. This is kind of nice too when you're out in the field to drop these when you're blood trailing. because you can go from the arrow to blood trail, get a sense of direction, and help you. So,
Oh,
uh, creek crossing,
Now you can drop another point and tell the distance between the 2 points, right?
you can. The other thing you can do is how far is it from the end of this road up to Hidden Lake? I can click this draw line. I can click at the start, click at the end, 1.2 miles.
Got
But
it.
that's as a crow flies. Okay.
Right.
If you're wanting to know about hunting, Larry, turn on this, which is Route Builder. And then you just start building your route for how you're going to go in there.
Okay, cool.
1.2 miles. I'm going to gain 770 feet. And at the start, I'm at 6282. And at the end, I'm going to be 7,000. These were kind of things that I covered in the start right before you got on. But
Mhm.
never hurts to show it again.
Good, thanks.
So yeah, it really, really is a powerful tool for scouting, but then also out in the field. There's so many things, and here's the deal. I don't use tracks a lot, or I haven't in the past, but I'm going to start using them this year. Reason being is this new place that we're hunting. When Bryce and I were going in, we had a very easy time going in, but coming out, man, we really got into, well, mind you, it was pouring rain. And at that point, we're bombing off the top. We're just going straight down. We got into creek bottoms, buckbrush, I mean, nasty things. So you can turn tracks on while you're learning. And if you're going in, you find a good route, then just save that track because then you know a good route in. Or if you're going in and all of a sudden you get into a place that it's like, oh, then discard it. Don't keep it. So, or
I've done that. I've done that where I can go back and look at my track later and there's a U-turn here, and oh yeah, that was too steep, or whatever it was. I can see that in my old tracks. It does drain your battery a little faster running tracks, so.
well, did you know that if you put it into airplane mode with the offline maps, you can still use the tracks?
Mhm.
So, and in fact, let's see if I still have this one track in here. Let's see, where was that?
But the other thing, you can look at your topography from those tracks too.
Yes, you
And
can. Okay, here we go. So this is a track that I turned on. And then again, on this track, it was 1.2 miles. And I mean, gained 118 feet, but lost 115. So
you were 3 feet taller when you got back.
yeah, but this is not really the one I was looking for because I wanted, oh, I must not have that one anymore. I didn't save it. So this is where Liz learned about one more ridge.
oh, yeah.
So because we started at the end of this road, came up through this meadow, and then there's actually a Y on this trail right here. Hit this trail, came up, and I told her we were only going to go from here to where it intersects with this trail right here. We had no pack, no snacks, and all we had was just a regular sized bottle of water. Well, by the time we got to this intersection, I noticed the sign and it said, well, it's only so far up to this intersection. So we hung a right and we went up this trail. And then we came up to this intersection. And then at this intersection, there was another sign that said it was only a half mile down to this intersection. At that time, we didn't have much water left, and Liz basically told me, don't even frickin' think about it. So, so we hung a right and came back down this trail, crossed the creek, and back down to where we had the general. Doesn't sound like that big of a deal, right? So we'll just kind of
That's a
take
big,
you through this.
Just got a lot more interesting.
that's a
So
big,
basically started here, through the meadow, up here, through this saddle, across this face, and here to this intersection. Then from this intersection, we came out up to the top of this ridge, followed this ridge until we got to this intersection. And then we turned and came down this. So you can see this is not just a measly little flat stroll with one little bottle of water.
At least it was downhill at the end.
mm,
Yeah, and there was a good creek flowing. So I mean it was some incredible country. And I mean once we got up into slow down. Oh, I lost it. Hold on. That's what I want right there. Once we got up into this area and got out here, now we were looking up at this basin. Not a bad looking basin, huh?
Mm-mm.
mm.
Now the best part is, let's click on this dotted trail. It's a 2.6 mile long motorcycle trail. We no longer have to hike that with our electric motorcycles. Oh, do you guys see a couple of those points that I was talking about?
Blood trails is caught my eye.
Oh, mm,
Shot down here, blood trail up here.
mm.
Do you remember 2 years ago that bull 20 minutes into the first morning? Remember the meadow where I had to smack Bryce in the chest because he told me I sucked?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This was it. So this was the shot 20 minutes into the first morning on opening day.
Mm,
And we had to follow that blood trail all up through this. And this point, he went straight up. So don't tell me that wounded bulls will not go straight up. All right. So, yeah, Larry, I don't use this very much.
Not at all.
No. So, all right, guys. Well, there you go.
One friend of mine was guiding a rifle hunt on a foggy morning, spotted an elk, and the rangefinder would not pick it up because of the fog. He was able to locate where they were, where the elk was on OnX, 310 yards. Are you good with that? Yeah, I'm good with that. And the guy took the bull.
Yeah.
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 Pretty
That's
cool.
that. Yeah, that's that rangefinder tool on the app. It's on the app on the phone, not on the desktop version.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But
Cool.
great tool. So, all right. Well, there you have it, guys. That is the OnX tutorial that I wanted to go through tonight to kind of just go through all the different tools. And now the best thing to do is just go in and start playing. Nice thing is anything you do, any shapes that you draw, any lines that you draw, any waypoints that you drop, you can always delete them. So play with, Yeah, you know, Larry, kind of, I talked about first on, you saw where I have all different colors. I color code a lot of stuff. Um, you know, water, blue, yellow for parking or access, black for camps, brown for trail cameras, blue for wallows or uh, pocket little ponds or water sources, stuff like that. Um, that way you can just really quickly look at those um, waypoints and know exactly what they are.
Yep.
So,
Cool. Sorry I was late. I'll pick it up on the video. I had a meeting that I couldn't get out of.
no, that's okay. Completely understandable. And you know what? I just realized I never uploaded the last Wapiti Live Q&A we did. So
Mhm.
I guess I better
Mm,
upload a couple of replays.
mhm.
So sad for the people who didn't tune in, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it probably won't be until after the weekend because Knox and I are heading up to camp to set trail cameras for Memorial Weekend. So
Good deal.
he had his choice to come with me or stay in town with his mom, and he chose to come hike and set trail cameras with me. So
Trooper.
there's hope for the kid yet. So, all right, guys, as always, keep calling, keep practicing. More importantly, they'll have fun, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks. So,
Thanks, amigo. Have a good
have a good one,
weekend.
everybody.
Have a good Memorial Day.
You too. Good night.